Let me have it. And on that note, I have Professor Jerono Rotich. Professor, good morning.
Morning, how are you doing?
Fantastic. It's finally rained in the city and in Kenya. We are happy.
That is great news. It's 1 a.m. here and it's not raining. It's just a little cold, so we're getting used to that. I'm in Indiana.
Absolutely. Professor, yes. The Presidential Working Party and Education is currently ongoing with the public participation across the country. It must be a lot of work for you, but Kenyans are expecting a positive results at the end of the day.
Yes, it is a lot of work. In fact, personally, I am currently in Indiana, and I've been staying up since October the 12th through the 14th when the committee was officially launched. My schedule has been starting at 1 a.m. I wake up at 1 a.m. I sleep for a few hours, wake up at 1 a.m. and join the committee which is around 2 a.m. here until around 10. Then that's when I transition to my regular job here. So yes, we've been burning, we call it burning the midnight oil, because of the passion that we have for this task. So I do want to thank His Excellency for actually including the diaspora, because it's for the first time the diaspora's voices have been heard. So I've been working with the committee. We have, like Dr. Minerva says, our chair, great chair. We've had induction ceremony, we've had assignments, we've had working sessions, we've had committee assignments, and right now the task force, they're in 10 groups, like he said, and they're down in the counties. I'm here trying to get the input. I'm actually working on getting the input from the diaspora, which, you know, this is a community that has always been left behind, but we are working around the clock. My day normally starts at 1 a.m. and it's 1:07 now, so I'm used to this kind of schedule, and I'm extremely committed until we get this done, because we want to ensure that we have a great education in Kenya. We have a program that serves our citizens. We have a program, we have an education system that prepares our students, our citizens, to be global ready citizens, to be independent, to be, you know, to be self-sustainable, and, you know, just the 9-year old. So yes, we are working around the clock to ensure we have a WhatsApp group. We are constantly, I know what is going on in the counties. We are constantly in contact. We are sharing information. We are sharing ideas. So this is a great, great group to work with.
Prof, what is now your role basically in the diaspora, even as you undertake this process?
So I am on all committees. Like, I'm on the university committee, so I'm working with the task force on the university committee. I'm also on the cross-cutting issues across the board. So we have committees. We are looking at the basic education. Under that basic education, we have curriculum and assessment. We have teacher education and management. We have standards, quality and assurance. And then under the tertiary and universities, we have the Tibet subcommittee, and then we have the university subcommittee. So I am on the university subcommittee, given my experience in the university system, where I've worked in the United States for over 23 years as a faculty member, risen through the ranks to full professor, where I'm now an administrator. I'm an associate dean in the School of Public Health in Indiana University. I'm also the current president of the Kenya Scholars and Studies Association, as well as the founder of the Kenya Students in Diaspora. And I serve on so many organizations. I serve on so many Kenyan global organizations. So my role is to bring in the voices of the diaspora. So we have different sessions, we have WhatsApp groups, we're getting ideas. I'm actually getting a lot of ideas, information even from Kenya, because of my global work and the work that I've done in Kenya. So I am not just in the US, I am a Kenyan. I've worked in Kenya. I've done a lot of work in Kenya. You know, last year and this year I was at the University of Nairobi as a Carnegie Diaspora Fellow, where I took time during the weekends to visit the schools, to listen. I worked with my nieces and nephews on those assignments, and some of them were not easy. I told them, I can't do this. It was just, you know, the requirements were just difficult. So yes, I am part and parcel of the Kenyan system. I'm a global citizen. I am very passionate about education in Kenya.
And your area of operation, basically the 42-member team, the task force, which was formed by the president. Allow me to ask you this question. At the end of the day, what are some of the things that you are looking at?
So what we are looking at, we're like, again, I don't want to preempt this because we are collecting information, we are collecting views. So we're looking at things on basic education. Of course, CBC is a priority right now, given that there's this 6th grade that is about to transition. So we're hoping to get information on exactly where is the best place to domicile these 6th graders. So we're hoping to get information on that. We also want to get, we're also hoping to get views, or we're looking for views as to how we can make this system work better or work great. I personally think it's a great system. I've been in programs like that. Maybe the only thing that we're getting is we want to hear the voices from the parents, from the students, from the teachers, from the leaders. So we want to get information. We're getting views so we can advise His Excellency the President, because at the bottom line, we want to make our education system the best. We want students to graduate who can transition to tertiary and university. So we are looking at under the tertiaries, what is working and what is not. In terms of technology, do they have access to technology? How is that technology working? What do they need in terms of the university? We're looking at the curriculum. We're looking at overall of the curriculum. We're looking at funding models. We're looking at quality control, legal and governance issues. We're looking at financing and equity of education. So we're looking at everything. So we're looking at the tertiary universities, and then we're looking at cross-cutting issues. Again, the bottom line is we want to get input from all stakeholders so that when we make these recommendations to His Excellency President William Ruto, Dr. William Ruto, His Excellency, we want to make sure that these are the voices of the stakeholders.
Prof, let me just ask you this question. Is CBC a bad idea?
No, CBC is not a bad idea. If you look at the CBC, the idea is to graduate an engaged and empowered ethical citizen, which we on our side we want to graduate students who are global ready citizens, who have the critical thinking skills, who can go into the workforce. So there's nothing, the curriculum is great. Competency-based curriculum is great. We use it here in different ways. I think the only issue that we're hearing is that the resources. Not everybody has equal access to those resources. So that's why we're looking at financing and equity. What is it equitable? Does everybody have, a child in Nairobi, right? And a child in my village. I remember I went there during COVID and I was asking my mom, has this child done their homework? I can say, my partner, watch out, let him leave first. I'm more worried about COVID. Wachana na hiyo homework. So they're like, wachana na hii vitu yao wanauliza. They're like, wanakuja na niambia nichukue selfie. I don't even know what selfie is. So my mama akamwambia mwende kwa Facebook. I said, no, that's not where you get the assignment. So the idea is, I think what we're hearing is, what I'm hearing from this side is, again, we in Diaspora, we support the system, we have families, we're part and parcel of that. We are not, just because we're outside Kenya does not mean we're part of that. And remember, Diaspora is all the way outside Kenya, so we're all over the place. And we are very much aware of what is going on. When I was in Kenya in the summer, I went to the girls' schools, I went to Singore, I went to all those schools, Kenya High. I visited those schools and I was listening and I was seeing what was going on. So I think the whole idea is, the questions we're asking ourselves is, are the schools fully resourced?
Yes.
Do they have all the resources that they need? And then the preparation of teachers and administrators, was this well rolled out? Their proper planning in rolling this out. I've been in this system where we are part of the strategic goals. I'm actually a part of the strategic goals for the Indiana University, where I'm on the Global Partnerships Committee. So we sit down, we bring together all the stakeholders. We come across great ideas, but you know what? We ensure that we have enough funding, we have enough resources, and that this curriculum is going to be equitable to everybody who is a consumer curriculum. We also want to make sure that people who are implementing are well prepared. So the question is, were our teachers prepared? How was it rolled out? And do they have enough resources? So those are some of the things that we are hearing. Remember, again, it's not we're hearing, and we are listening very carefully. I am thing. My phone is ringing. I'm getting messages that are putting me into tears as I read those messages from stakeholders, from students saying, this is what I'm going through.
Prof, you've talked about the issue of preparedness in terms of the parents, the teachers, and even the schools. Most of the schools administrators saying that they are not ready in terms of classrooms and other facilities. So, as the working task force, what are some of the recommendations that perhaps you are looking at the end of the day before the CBC is fully rolled out?
Great question, but you know what? I can't fully answer you that question because that is where we're listening now. We will tell you those questions after November. Right now, we're listening from November 1st to November 11th. We have a session with Diaspora on the 25th.
Yeah.
We have a meeting. We have a meeting next week. We have another meeting on the 10th, on the 12th. So once we get those ideas, remember we're getting their views as to what is not working and what is working, because they are the consumers. We don't want to push things down their throats. We want to hear what is it that is going to work for them. So I'm really excited. I'm looking forward to hearing what they think will work for them. And of course, we are looking at, the diversity. We're looking at all over the county. We're looking at Turkana. We're looking at Nairobi. So it's interesting to see what we'll get from that. But definitely we are listening as a committee, and we'll share those views, we'll share their voices, and we will present it.
Yes. Prof, when you talk about the preparedness, a majority of Kenyans will say that there is this interested party, the parents. Some say that children would carry all the assignments from school and back home. So others would appreciate, yes, CBC is fine because it's competency based. But now the cost and other facilities, and it should be retained, but all other factors should be retained to the government. Do you think that should be the situation?
You know what? If that is what it's going to take to have a successful education curriculum, especially those who cannot afford. So what other option do they have? I am a very involved parent. I was very involved in my children's lives. And if there are things I couldn't afford, that made me feel miserable. So if they cannot afford, those who can afford, fine. But those who can afford, you're setting up these children for failure. How do you expect them to do work if they don't have the resources? I saw that. I observed that. In fact, what was interesting was I saw parents having WhatsApp groups and they're asking themselves, how do you do this assignment? So it got to a point where parents are actually doing the assignments. Parents are going to the store to buy the stuff that they need. How about that mama in the village in Elgeyo Marakwet, because that's where I come from, who has no idea? Like I said, when I ask them, they're like, wacha watoto wa survive kwanza, wachana na hii vitu yao. We're more worried about COVID and what they'll put in their mouth, because they just didn't even understand what they were asking. I am in kinesiology. Look at swimming. You tell a child to go swimming, that's okay. The ones in Nairobi can go swim, but the ones in the village, what pool are they going to? And then the fear is the child is going to graduate thinking that they can swim, and then they're going to jump into a pool. And what do we expect?
Exactly.
So when it comes to that, I've all my life, I'm an educator. I am very, very passionate about education and giving children, giving students resources, giving them the tools that they need to succeed. Otherwise, if they don't have the tools, then we have problems.
Prof, the whole idea of CBC was mooted way back in President Mwai Kibaki's era when he took power. So we'd imagine that CBC has taken more than 10 years in the pipeline and is coming to be actualized at this particular stage. But now there is that aspect of policy and the action plan. Where was the point of departure?
That's a very good question you're asking me, and I don't know the answer, because that's a very... Now, if it's something that I was part and parcel of, if I was involved from day one, like I said, I've been part of strategic committees, I've been part of strategic programs where we actually plan everything, and we do them in phases. Phase 1, this is what we're going to do. Phase 2, this is what we're going to do. Phase 3. So it's kind of phased out, and at every stage, we do assessment and evaluation. We provide the resources and we go back and say, where have we gone wrong? What is worked and what is not? So I don't know what happened here, but again, from my world, from my experience, from my career, we are very, very diligent about this. We don't play with children's life. This is their life. This is their life. This is their career.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what are some of the aesthetics missing when you have the action plan here? CBC is in place, but then now we have got the aesthetics, the tools that will make it run efficiently so that both parties, the parents, teachers, and even the students, by large, the government will have to feel some kind of a lightweight in rolling out CBC.
Again, that's where we are. And again, I can't, we're out there in the fields, we're collecting information, but I'm hoping that is why this task force was created, so we can actually go back to the ground, go back to the drawing board and say, where did we go wrong? What can we do to, we have children who are in the system. We can't just drop them out and say, okay, you're going to take you here. It doesn't work that way. What are you going to do to this child's life? We had a good education. We had a good program. We are responsible citizens to ensure that these kids have the best that we can provide. It's unethical for us to put children through that. So therefore, we are going to say, yes, that is why we're all over the country. We're all over the diaspora. We're saying, what is it that we can do? What are your thoughts? What are your views?
Exactly.
And then give us feedback. So I'm not going to say we have that. If we had the answers, we'd have just written a report. But that's why we're going back to the stakeholders. We're talking to leaders, county leaders, we're talking to governors, we're talking to everybody, a consumer, a supporter, every stakeholder. We are not leaving any stone untouched. So we have a team that is extremely passionate. I'm telling you, you should see our group. I love this group. I enjoy it. I just love the energy and the passion that we have. And we thank God. We're really thankful for His Excellency. We're thankful to our great chair, Professor Munavi, who's guiding us, who's guiding through this process, and we are very diligent about this. And I'm not doubt that we'll come up with the committee will come up with, the task force will come up with a great report that will really enhance or reform the Kenyan education system. Remember, we're looking through basic, tertiary, all the way to universities. So this is a huge task.
Absolutely. Prof, some of the views, others are saying that there should be a blend of 844 system. Others are saying that the CBC should be abandoned in entirety. But do you really think it should be so? What do you suggest? A blend of 844 and CBC? Because as it is, the president said that CBC is here to stay.
I agree with you. CBC is here to stay. So in every system, we're going to look at the good and the bad. What are the pros and the cons? So that's what we're going to look at is, what are the pros of the 844 system? Yes, I have actually received that. This morning, I received very long messages from students in Kenya, because I do a lot of work with students. So then I don't only work with students who are in the US, I work with students who are preparing to come to the US. So I'm getting a lot of mixed messages about getting rid of this, retaining this. So we're getting all this. That's why hopefully when we get together, we'll put together that information. But yes, we're seeing those comments coming through. So we will share that with the respective committees, and then we'll sit down and share what we found out.
Yeah. Prof, what is the comparison between the Kenyan system and the American system? I believe Americans, let me just say, embraced their CBC, quote unquote, years and years ago. Is there anything that you can pick from the American system and plant into the Kenyan system?
There are so many things that we can share. That is what we're saying as diaspora. We don't just want to be seen as people who remit funds. We will do that. Lovely. We love to support our loved ones. We will remit our money. We will remit our funds. But also take advantage of our skills. You send us to this country. We have all these skills. We have all this knowledge. We have all these experiences. So based on our experiences, we have an education system that has been great. I have 2 children who have gone through the system. I have everybody who's gone through the system. The key thing was there were a lot of choices. Like my kids went to math and science, competency. Their focus was math and science. Guess what? I had a choice as to where they wanted to go. If they wanted to do finance, they had a choice. If they wanted to do social studies, they had a choice. If they wanted to do the medical career. So what they did was they resourced the respective schools. So they had something called the magnet schools. where if that is a skill that you wanted to develop, guess what? We bus those skills to those programs. We bus them to their programs, and they got everything that they needed. They got all the resources you can think of. They had the books, they had the teachers, they had the materials, they had everything that they needed. So therefore, they were able to develop their talents. And then when they transition into the universities, so we have a system that has choices, we have a system that has options, we have a system that is well resourced. We have people who are trained. And of course, we're always willing to learn. We're not perfect. We're always constantly assessing, constantly reviewing and saying, hey, what have we done? You know, for example, right now, the University of Indiana, we are actually reviewing our strategic goals. We are reviewing and saying, hey, this is our goal, IU 2030. We're looking at it and saying, how far have we come? Where do we need to be in 2030? So we are reviewing. Every 5 years, we go back and review our goals. We go back and do that. And you know what? As a result of that, we are graduating students who are able to transition. I just want to give some examples of the good things that the Kenyan curriculum has done. So if you look at students who are transitioning into the diaspora, so for example, the US.
Yeah.
What Kenya has done very well is their nursing curriculum and their physical therapy curriculum. They have actually embraced the international curriculum. So right now, anybody who's graduating with a nursing degree or a physical therapy, all they need to do is to do the national exam, do the NCLEX, and they can come and practice right here. So that system, they have strategically worked with international organizations to make sure that the students who are graduating can also transition into the international world and they can function. So that is a great idea. But if you look at people like medical school, professors, I've been in positions where I wanted to hire professors, but I can't. You know what? Because there are some institutions where they do not do coursework. You know, medical doctors from Kenya cannot practice in Kenya. Some lawyers cannot practice in Kenya.
Yeah.
So that is one of the things that we need to look at, the quality of our programs. We need to look at the credibility of our programs, and we need to internationalize our programs. So yes, we're here as Diaspora. Like I said, I'm the president of the Kenya Scholars and Studies Association. We have many, many, many scholars and students who can help Kenya.
Yeah.
If you're willing to accommodate us. The problem is they're not always willing to. They just want our money, but they don't want our skills and talents. And then guess what? We'll take them outside. We'll take them to other places. I've done work in Gambia, I've done work in Ghana, I've done work in Turkey. I'm going to Turkey. So we've done work elsewhere where they appreciate our skills. So again, there's so much that diaspora across the board can offer to our country. Absolutely.
Doc, I want to believe that you went through the 844 system, right?
Nope. No. No.
Okay.
I was in the nope, I expected none.
Okay.
Nope.
But now what is the area of the difference between 844 and the CBC? That gap that is missing, that probably the task force will have to mend, so that at the end of the day, we don't drop 844 in its entirety and pick the CBC. What are some of the things that we can pick from 844 and transfer to the CBC and make it a blend?
You know, I think the 844 system was, they focused on competency skills. It was a great curriculum. It was just that it was honestly, I don't know why they changed from the 844, because the 844 system is what we have in the United States. Actually, that's the same system that we
really
have. We have the 844 system here. That is our education system. And it worked well. I guess they just wanted to give them more hands-on competency, which is great. Like I said, it's a great idea. There's nothing wrong with that competency. So what I think is they could transfer some of the ideas that they had in the 844. And also, really, the only thing with the CBC is just really the resources and the training, and then making sure that it's equitable resources.
Yeah.
So I think the balance that, again, we can look through that. There's going to be a balance. And actually, like I said, we're getting that information, really striking a balance and saying what worked here. Because in some cases, there are things that did not work, right? I'm aware of that. I'm sure there are things that did not work. right? So looking at those and saying, like, for example, when they took our Form 6 program, I think it was a great program because the 2 years really gave us time to grow.
Yeah.
That's like, I didn't go through that one.
Absolutely.
Because I enjoyed that 2 years, that separation, that it really gave me time to think through myself and to think through who I was and to kind of design my career pathway.
Do you really think that Kenya was ready for the rollout of the CBC?
From what we are hearing, what we are hearing and what I saw and what I observed when I was in Kenya in 2021 and 2022, I don't think so. I went to the classrooms, I saw them constructing. Teachers didn't even have the money. Their teachers were struggling. They didn't have the money to finish that one classroom. So for example, you have all these kids graduating from primary school, right?
Yes.
So many primary schools have one classroom. What I observed was one classroom. How in the world are we going to fit all of them in one classroom? So I think I don't really know what happened down the road. It was a good idea, but I don't think it was well rolled out, or it was not thought out. It was an afterthought, or it was, it was more of a reaction versus being proactive. Because if they knew that this was coming, why didn't they prepare all those classrooms? But then you're going to end up in 2023 with so many kids who are going to the high school, but they have no dorms, they have no classrooms. Surely, what is going to happen? So that, to me, again, like I said, I'm speaking as a consumer, not as I'm not giving my views, but I'm just speaking as a consumer, having those kids, my children, seeing my nieces and my nephews, and just trying to imagine, oh my goodness, they're going to high school, how are they going to function? So,
I'm reminded that some of the parents who gave their concern said that some of the students were too young to join the junior secondary school because they wanted, some said that they really needed more time for them to mature in the primary schools. But then the CBC is here and the president is ready and waiting for the report. But allow me to ask you this question. What if, and how long do you really think it's going to take after the report for the whole of CBC to take effect and to be stamped in our Kenyan system?
That's a very good question that I really have no answer. If you ask me about the US, I could probably tell you. Because we're very clear, we're very strategic. We know that we have a task force that we need to finish in 2 months, and that is very clear and it's in stone and writing. I don't know, because what's going to happen is there are a lot of factors that can come into play. We need the resources, the funding, the training, just the whole policies and everything, the training. So I don't know how long it's going to take, but I have a feeling, I know that with His Excellency, our President, he is ready to roll this and he's very committed to doing this. So I have no doubt that he's going to do it in the soonest time, or as soon as he's able to do that. So again, trust his leadership, him and his vice president, we trust their leadership. But the most important thing is we need to make sure that these kids are in a better system, or the environment.
Absolutely.
Like I said, the environment.
Yes. Yes, Professor, the 42-member team led by the good Professor Munavu himself is having their public participation across the country, and perhaps this is giving the whole of this system some upper hand, because some would argue that the stakeholders were not involved in this process. Do you really think that is going to change anything?
I think it will change. I think it will change, because if they were not involved, then we're involving them now. The team, like I said, we share updates. We're in different groups that we get updates on what is going on every day. They're doing an amazing job. Teams 1 to team 10, in fact, we're sharing photos. They're doing great work. So I think it is going to make a difference. And the sense I'm getting, even here in Diaspora, is that, they're actually asking us. We matter. So the fact that we are hearing their voices, we're listening to them, the members are going to them, they're taking their time to go down to the ground. So I think it matters and it will make a difference.
Some of the teachers actually who also gave the opinion said that they were ill-prepared, there were no structures, there were no infrastructure, they didn't have enough resources and even the manpower to handle CBC. But moving forward, do you really think now it will also have to cascade to the teachers' training institutions, the universities, the technical institutions to prepare the teachers pretty well for the rollout?
Totally. It's going to take an overall. That's why we're looking at everything across the board. And actually, you're correct. Like I said, I've visited schools. I was in KU. We have our WhatsApp group for the class of 1994 from Kenyatta University. We have our WhatsApp group from the Kenya High students of 1989. We have a teachers. So I'm in so many WhatsApp groups, and they actually put me, as soon as they saw me on the committee, they put me on all these WhatsApp groups, and they're like, please let me know if you need me to come and talk on TV, if you need me to come and share this. So yes, they have shared the same concerns. In fact, some of my colleagues have said the preparations, I was trained as a teacher at Kenyatta University. So they said all the skills that we learned, we can't even use them. We want to come back. We want to teach. We want to teach the way we were taught. So yes, it is going to require an overall. It's going to require some modifications. But again, based on what we get, we have to be prepared. If we're keeping this system, then we have to prepare everybody. We have to prepare the administrators. We have to resource them. We have to prepare the teachers. We have to prepare some way the parents too. You know, as a parents, we had parent meetings. We had those. Involve them every step of the way, because for a child to be successful, it takes a village, and we are the village.
Yeah, we are the village.
We are the
Okay,
yes,
allow me to ask you this simple question. From your village, how would you explain CBC to that old, beautiful lady in the village who is struggling with the assignment each and every day? What would you tell her what CBC is all about? Because some of them don't understand.
You want me to tell them in Kalenjin?
Oh, yes, go ahead.
No, I do that every day I do a program on Saturday, every Sunday morning on FM, so I already told them. But I think it's a great program. It actually prepares students with skills, with life skills. With life skills that they can use beyond and above after they graduate. And these are skills that they do not, that will not make them employable, but these are skills that will make them employers.
Yeah.
These are skills that would really, like I said, these are life skills that I wish I had those skills myself. I didn't have those skills. I had to learn those later on in life. But it's a great idea. It's just that it's not rolled out right. So tell them, whatever it is, it may be hard, but we're working on that. But the whole idea is they have the good interest, they have good intentions. It may be difficult, but the intentions were good. The intentions were good to prepare your children to be citizens. Skills, that life skills, and retool them with skills that will lifelong learning.
Prof, it's 1 a.m. and I know you need to get some sleep before. I'm told you're traveling to Turkey?
Yes, I'm actually going to Turkey for an engagement tomorrow morning.
All right. You need to get some
already.
Okay, yeah, tomorrow morning. All right, you need to catch some sleep before you travel. But now your closing remarks, even as we undertake this process. Of course, the professor is also going around the country with his team here in 254 to get the views of parents and other stakeholders. Your closing remarks, Professor.
Thank you. And I'm also reading my comments from all our WhatsApp groups that we're getting. So I'm collecting information as we move. So I do want to thank His Excellency President Dr. William Ruto and his deputy for really looking at this education system, for their commitment to reforming the education system in Kenya. I do want to thank our leadership, that is the task force, the Presidential Working Party on Educational Reforms, the greatest team I've come across. Great people, great passionate people, and great professionals. And our wonderful chair, Professor Monavi. I want to thank everybody, and I want to assure our Kenyans that we love our children. We love your children. We love Kenya. We love our education system. So you know what? We will do our very best. we will give our very best. For example, in my case, I've actually recruited, there's a session on funding and financing and fund financing university education. I've actually reached out to some of the senior most officers, financial officers in our University of Indiana, and they will be meeting with the group, with the university team as soon as they get back from the community. So we are doing everything. We're sacrificing. I'm not getting a lot of sleep because I love education. We love our children. We love Kenya, and we want to support our leaders. So thank you so much, and thank you for even giving me this opportunity to just support our team and to say, yes, we are here. And remember the diaspora, don't forget us. It's not just about money. We are here. We love Kenya, even if we are not there, but we love Kenya, and we always...
We love you too, Prof.
I'm in
We love you too.
We love you. Come visit us.
we love you too, and thank you so much for keeping the spirit of Kenya alive. Even in the United States, you are doing an amazing job, and we hope that at the end of the day, whatever you're doing in the States is going to change the whole education landscape as far as the CBC is concerned. So I'll let you go and have some sleep.
Thank you so much, and you have a wonderful day.
Absolutely. Thank you. That is Professor Rotich Jerono, who is now joining us all the way from United States of America, talking to us matters CBC and how the whole curriculum and the public participation is going to happen in the diaspora. All right. We all went to school. That's why we're here. All right, let's take a break right now. Doreen Arange is up next with the next segment. What is she going to be discussing? Stick around for that. My name is Victor Oloo. Have a good morning.